I get 8 hours of sleep. I prioritize it. Unless I'm traveling in different time zones, sometimes it's impossible, but it doesn't matter to me whether we're a pure internet play. What matters to me is do we provide the best customer service. I am very focused on it, and for me, I need 8 hours of sleep. I think better.
In 2012 alone, Amazon was able to pull through and earn a whopping $61.09 billion US. So how much have they totally earned throughout the years? Well, in this video, we'll be talking about just how big Amazon really is. Now, before we dive in deeper, if you're new to the channel, thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to show your support. Here's some food for thought. In the United States, all throughout time, and even during the pandemic, people end up spending about $14 out of $100 on things we find on the internet. It doesn't seem like much at first, right? Well, another thing to consider is that an approximate $5 that you spend on the internet is actually Amazon's fault. Well, not necessarily a fault, but it surely is huge and quite amazing how you end up spending so much for a single company in a lifetime. So how big exactly is Amazon? Is it an absolute giant that completely dominates the way we spend on the internet? That wouldn't be surprising at all, considering almost everybody nowadays end up using all their time on their phones and computers. So it's even more likely that people end up browsing on online stores like Amazon and the like. On the other hand, do you think of Amazon as nothing more than a smudge in the wide ecosystem we refer to as American shopping universe? Well, it is surely going to depend on your viewpoint, since everyone's opinions matter when it comes to this sort of issue. However, we still have to look at the numbers without any bias, especially considering how Amazon is an absolute giant when it comes to earning in internet sales. Relatively, however, Amazon is rather small when compared to other companies and brands that are thriving in America. I mean, sure, Amazon has definitely made its name on the internet, but it surely can't compete against other retail megastores that have actual physical stores that can be accessed by anyone in the area. You might think at first that online stores actually have the advantage when it comes to serving people. Yes, it certainly is true that online shopping is a great feat in and of itself, considering how anyone in the world can access it. However, what you are forgetting to consider is that there are additional payments to take care of, such as taxes. You also have to remember about the labor that goes into getting your order online to your home, or wherever you want your order to be delivered to. A lot of people believe that Amazon's sheer size affects how the public and policymakers think about the company. That might have some truth to it in a way. However, despite the company's fair share of spending matters, as well as profits and losses, they have still never openly disclosed what is going on inside the company in regards to liquidation of corporation, so we can't really make much of a conclusion as of the moment. Nevertheless, statistics matter, and according to statistics, we can analyze how they have become a mongering internet sensation throughout the years. Amazon is probably the biggest thing to have ever existed on the internet, especially with the fact that eMarketer, a research firm that focuses on online shopping and trading, had estimated that Amazon is going to be responsible for at least 40% of America's online spending. And that's just for this year. Imagine if Amazon actually took over the internet as a whole. That just might be a nightmare in a way. On the other hand, there is also another internet store that just might be able to catch up with Amazon. And it's no other than Walmart, which is only behind by a measly 7%. If you really think about it, however, Walmart isn't really in any way inferior to Amazon, since there are also physical Walmart stores that greatly put it at an advantage when pitted against Amazon. Now, enough of that for now. Let's go back to the main point, shall we? Which is that internet shopping is always going to remain a smaller entity when compared to physical retail stores and the like. But remember, what I'm saying is not to undermine Amazon as a company. It is to simply compare the differences between Amazon and the other business mongers in America. The comparisons are only going to differ a lot depending on which point of view you take. It is also a matter of which side you're trying to quote-unquote defend. Let us now move on into talking more about eMarketer's estimates and how they gauge out Amazon's capabilities as a company. For starters, the US government's data online shopping all point out that Amazon is only about 5% of total retail sales in the entirety of America. Yes, folks, you heard that right. Despite being known for as a brand that takes on the face of the internet, Amazon is still only a measly 5% of all US retail sales. I honestly thought it was going to be much larger than that. Really, but that 5% in itself isn't a joke either. The number is said to have glossed over a wide array of variables that were put into account, which means that some of the categories were definitely at a huge advantage. An example of this would be how books and electronic sales in online shopping is greatly taken over by Amazon. Confused? Well, to elaborate, Amazon is actually taking control of sales when it comes to books and electronics, since they have covered well over half of all the online purchases on these types of products. On that note, it's safe to say that Amazon definitely took out a huge chunk on the books and electronics market on the online scene. However, there are also plenty of other categories that Amazon is at a disadvantage in. Unsurprisingly, Amazon is at quite a disadvantage in some of the major categories of consumer spending. Just to name an unsurprising few, Amazon is a bit inferior when it comes to earning sales, when it comes to groceries, cars, as well as gasoline. That's simply because most of Americans still believe that buying these in person is a lot more convenient. Whether it be because it is easier or if it is to help save time, buying in person is still the best method of purchasing. It is true that Amazon is only a measly 5% of the US retail sales, but on the other hand, Amazon actually uses the 5% sales figure as a way to counter critics who believe that the company is too big, too powerful, and out of hand. However, another variable for critics to look out for is the fact that big technology companies are looking at the behavior of companies themselves, and not just their sheer size. What critics can take from this is that they fight for the answers that they want. They should also consider whether or not big companies actually end up abusing their power to get the advantage of their competitors. I mean, it's not exactly a bad thing to try to put yourself ahead of the enemy, however. The issue that people should have with this is if such acts of attempting to gain an advantage will also have the potential to negatively affect the people. Whether you are working for the company or you are a customer of the company, it's only going to be bad news if you condone such acts. Since if you allow for it, you're bound to put in a harder situation as companies compete for the top spot. Amazon has always had an influence on people's behavior, especially because most company strategies revolve completely around the community. But remember that Amazon was founded in the garage of Jeff Bezos' rented home in Bellevue, Washington. He surely did start off quite small, with his parents investing almost $250,000 in the startup in 1995. From a simple online bookstore and now having the world's largest collection of books, it seems that Amazon is too big to fail, no matter the millions of people who dislike Bezos and would rather he gets lost in space. Want to learn more about news and facts about Amazon and other big-name brands? Then keep your eyes peeled for the next time we upload a video. But what are your thoughts on this development? Do you think Amazon's going to become even more successful? Or do you think it's going to flop because of the pandemic? And what items do you normally purchase from Amazon?
But you do need to follow your passion.
Right.
Have you been satisfied with their services? Sound off in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for future updates. Until next time.